all three voices within what you just saw. But it is primarily Freddie. In fact, I did just hear Rami do an NPR interview, and he very kindly said that he couldn't really tell um, where the joins were. So that was great.
That's what a mixer does.
Yeah.
A good mixer, anyway, right?
That's what we try to do.
We've heard some bad mixes, but I don't think from Paul.
Oh,
Now, the Live Aid performance that bookends the film, I mean, that was a complicated sequence, not only with the music mixing, but the variety. You've got the crowd, you've got the different perspectives from the audience, from on stage, from the side of the stage, the different players playing. Do you want to talk a little bit about that section and how you played with that? And also, I think that's one of the scenes that probably your Atmos and the fact that this is also an IMAX film, very big theaters, big sound. A scene like that would be really important in that.
yeah, I mean that scene did take a long time, obviously. But so when I started on the film, or before I started, sorry, a while back I used to do a lot of, or a long time ago, I used to do a lot of recording of rock bands and going on tour with them and recording in stadiums. And so I knew going into this film, I really, really wanted to get a sense of how the stadium feels when you get into the bigger venues. And I didn't just want to do it electronically with standard reverbs and delays and slaps and such that we all use. So I wanted to, way back in like April, May, before we started any of this mixing, I started exploring taking the tracks that we were going to be using and seeing if we could play them back over a PA somewhere and get a sort of a worldized feel and a real acoustic environment to some of these larger spaces for when they start to get into the larger interior auditoriums like Fat Bottom Girls, once they get into obviously the stadium gigs like Madison Square Gardens and Wembley. That went through a variety of locations. We went to an abandoned factory in London, couldn't use it for whatever reason, blah, blah, blah. But the whole thing looked like it was just not going to happen. I actually got to the point where I was going to take a PA and record it in my backyard and hope the neighbors didn't notice. But just before we gave up, I found out that Queen were going to play the O2 Stadium in London, which I believe is about a 20,000 seat venue. And so we managed to get 2 hours of their sound check time and play back everything through their PA at full level with no audience. We hung 22 mics around the stadium from the stage position, looking out into the audience, from the mixer's position, looking at the stage, and 45 feet up in the air, looking around the auditorium all the way. So we had 22 mics. We recorded everything with Freddie singing, everything with Mark singing, everything with Rami singing, all the way through full length, so we could edit it down. And then I took those later on, and again with Atmos, was able to place those in objects around the room according to the size of the venue as it appeared in the film, and used it like a reverb return, essentially. So I could use a lot of the bottom end in it, or I could cut the bottom end in it and just have the slap from it and vary it according to how the perspective of the camera was looking. So like in Live Aid, where you see that great big wide shot that was in Champions at the end, I think, there was a huge amount of that and delays added for that perspective. And then when you're tied in on Freddie and you're on stage, I've cut a lot of that out, but it's used for every single shot to change the perspective on how the viewers seeing it. So I'm really happy that we were able to do that.
That sounds like it was a very complicated thing to even arrange. I mean, you must have had a whole bunch. Were you working with the production sound mixers as well to be able to get the kind of sound you wanted?
Yeah, their tour crew, and again, their engineers, the three engineers that work with Queen all the time, were very, very, very helpful in making that happen. And we got the 2 hours of clean time with no one in the stadium. It was amazing. And then the crowds for Live Aid, we had from the day there was a stereo recording of audience, but it was pretty weak, to be honest, because it wasn't ever intended to be anything more than just a stereo pair of audience. So during the shoot, when the Live Aid sequence was being shot, the stage was set up in a field in England, and John Warhurst, who's the music editor and supervising sound editor, they had 600 extras around the immediate front of the stage. And so John managed to convince the production to get time with those extras once their day was complete. And he painstakingly went through playing back over a PA one line of a song, and then muting the PA, conducting the 600 extras to sing it onto the next line. Same again, through every single song that we needed that kind of response from the crowd, and that's massive singing. Then he went back and he double tracked everything. Then he went back and he triple tracked everything. So we had 1,800 voices singing along, clean of PA, mic'd the way we wanted, out in an open field, which was amazing. Then also Fox, during Bohemian Rhapsody and Live Aid, Fox UK did a marketing promo where you could download an app on your smartphone and sing Bohemian Rhapsody into your smartphone and send it in, and it was a contest. Well, John, it did work. John ended up with over 10,000 tracks, which he had to whittle down, and we did 3 mixes on,